Hello, I'm Alexander Cross, attorney, criminal attorney here in the San Francisco Bay Area. If you'd like to learn more about criminal defense, please visit our YouTube page, Alexander Cross, and subscribe. Here we received a message on our Facebook, actually on our YouTube channel. Let's see. So last year I was arrested for using a driver's license with somebody else's name, and last weekend I was arrested for drunk driving and driving without a license. Okay. Well, let's discuss the first aspect. First of all, the first case showing false ID to a police officer, there can be two potential violations here. One of them is if it's just a fake ID you showed to the police officer, well then that would be a violation of Penal Code Section 148.9, which is a misdemeanor showing false ID. That carries a maximum sentence of 6 months county jail, but I mean, nobody really gets that unless you go to trial and lose, but out of every 100 cases, that only happens like twice. But generally speaking, you will get probation for about 18 months till about 3 years, depending on the court. But it could be more serious if you show the police somebody else's ID, not just some fake ID that you created at the Mission District. No, I'm talking about having somebody else's ID in your possession. That's a little bit different, because you could be charged with identity theft. That is a violation of Penal Code Section 530.5. That is a felony, potentially, that carries up to 3 years state prison. You better hope you didn't really steal somebody's identity, because the restitution amount, the amount of damage you do to somebody else's credit, oh God, that's astronomical. Just to eliminate a single line of something that's incorrect on somebody's credit could be thousands of dollars. So you might not want to do that one. Usually the restitution is worse than the jail. You'd almost rather go to jail than to steal somebody else's identity and mess up their credit for life. That's not a good one. But you have this other charge now of driving under the influence. Now, first of all, let's go back to the probation aspect for the first count, which would be a violation of 148.9, giving a fake ID to a cop. Well, if you're still on probation, which you would be because you'd be on probation from anywhere from 18 months to 3 years, then this new case, this new DUI and driving without a license would be not only a new case, but it would be a violation of probation for the old case. Now, when somebody violates the terms of their probation for an original case, they are now having to face the possibility of having served the full sentence, the full sentence, which would be the 6 months county jail for the 148.9 offense, the fake ID aspect. But aside from now facing the full sentence for the original case by way of violating the probation, now you have this new case of driving under the influence, which is a violation of Vehicle Code Section 23152B, and also there's the charge of driving without a license, which is a 12,500. Each of those carries a maximum sentence of up to 6 months in the county jail, but generally nobody receives that. Usually that gets resolved with like some community service, some sheriff's work, some fines, some fees, probation. But the worst part about all this is definitely the probation violation, because when you violate the terms of your probation and you are arrested, a lot of times they don't just let you go. They hold you in custody with no bail. That happens a lot. Even for Mickey Mouse misdemeanors, that happens a lot. So it's necessary for your attorney to go to court and basically do a sales pitch to try to see if we can get you the hell out of custody. Say, hey, look, he's a good kid, he's young, he's stupid, whatever. But I mean, you got to get the guy out. Got to get the kid out. And then based on that, it's like, okay, fine, let's start working on this DUI aspect. What was the probable cause for the stop? Did the police officer adequately arrest them? Was he at .08 or great? How did you realize he was at .08? Did you do a Alco-4 test, or did you take blood? If you took blood, okay, who took the blood? Was it a licensed phlebotomist, or was it just some other police officer? Because it's supposed to be a licensed phlebotomist. When they took the blood, did they swab the arm with a non-alcoholic substance because they can't use alcohol? Because obviously if they use alcohol on your arm, they shove the needle in your arm, well then that's going to affect the reading. All these things need to be considered. If they use the Alco-4 test device, which a lot of people call the breathalyzer, like this little dealie right here, well, okay, was it calibrated? Because these things have to be calibrated once every 10 days or once every 150 uses, depending on which one is more frequent. So I mean, all these things have to be considered in handling a DUI case. And eventually, if everything checks out, if it looks like, oh yeah, the CHP did their job, well then that's when we have to start talking with the DA about negotiating the case. If it looks like, no, the evidence is garbage, they didn't do this, they didn't do that, well then we need to talk about a dismissal. And if they don't want to dismiss, well then we might have to start talking about a jury trial when they bring in those 12 people from the community, and they can decide if the defendant is innocent or guilty. If they find him innocent, well, they can dismiss the charges. Regardless of that, if you have been accused of having committed a crime and need representation in court, be sure to give us a call at 1-800-862-7677. Once again, 1-800-862-7677. This is Alexander Cross, attorney, criminal defense, here in the San Francisco Bay Area.